This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, I am Justin Jarrett. He is Wes Kerr. This is the LowcoSports Lowdown on a stormy Friday night, Wes. Hoping I don't get any more of those power flickers I've been having this evening and knock out the power and the internet over here. We might have a janky show. You might have to fly solo for a little bit if things get out of hand over here in Bluffton. Pretty good storm going through, but it's the storm before the storm, I guess, because high school football season is at our doorstep. This episode of the LowcoSports Lowdown presented by our MVP sponsors, Mickelson Law Group, Homegrown Home Inspections, Hospice Care, the Low Country, and Megan Jarrett, Realtor at the Pierce Group, my wife. So she had a great open house today. Another one tomorrow here in our neighborhood in Lawton Station. So if you want to be my neighbor, come see her tomorrow and see if you like the house over at 4 Old Station. It's a beautiful house. But I digress. We got a lot to get to tonight, Wes. We're going to talk a lot of high school football, but some headlines to get into first. But first of all, it's been a few days since we talked to the people. How you doing, man? It's been
I'm doing
great
great.
And off and on, but a great time of year.
I'm doing great. It has that, that Christmas Eve kind of feeling. You get ready for the first football game of the year, regular season, kind of like an appetizer of sorts. We only get one game this week, but it's a big one. Beaufort Academy facing a very good Trinity Collegiate squad. We'll get to our preview of that one in a moment, but what a great way to open up the season in the place where we hope that we'll see it conclude the week before Thanksgiving in the state championship game. But what a great matchup for BA. Really excited to see that team. A lot of hype going on with that group in the offseason. Excited to see how it plays out for real after all the discussions and what we're seeing on paper. Always so excited to see it play out right in front of our eyes for real there on the field. So that's going to be tomorrow. But I'm doing well. Trying to just see out the storm. I mean, you could see from here out in the view of the marsh, lightning, thunder all around. It's been definitely been a stormy. We've needed a little bit of rain. We've had as much rain this summer, which has been nice. We've had some really good weather for the most part, but certainly need some stormy conditions. But it's certainly we've got a heck of a storm brewing with a couple of our area football teams because it's starting to get real. I mean, I'm very excited to see how things go tomorrow, and then we get the main course coming up next week, week 0, where we have a bunch of rivalry games. Of course, Hampton County, big storyline. They're starting their first game in their program's history. The Hampton County Hurricanes, a couple of rivalry matchups and a couple of intriguing openers for a lot of our local teams. So first one will come up tomorrow, and then we get our sights set on a big week 0.
Yeah, absolutely. It is time. I'm starting to run out of steam for the prep. I'm ready for the games. It's like the football coaches and players talk about wanting to hit somebody in another jersey. Well, I'm tired of doing all this behind the scenes stuff. I'm ready to go watch a football game and tell you what happened. That's the bread and butter for me. So, but it's been fun, gathering all the information. It's yeoman's work, but it helps us be prepared going into the season and really know what we're talking about. And so we'll be able to display our knowledge a little bit later in the show. We got some Oklahoma drills lined up to just kind of beat it around a little bit and hoping to get a couple of guests on here to join us, but we'll let that be a surprise because we don't know for sure who's going to be able to pop on with us. But definitely going to talk some football. Also going to talk a little bit of USCB Sand Sharks. I think Bracken Lambert, the new SID, is going to pop on with us and give us a little update on the Sand Sharks, as well as look ahead at fall sports, which have actually begun. John Paul II won their volleyball opener last night. Let me see if I could give you a little report on that in real time here. They wiped out Coastal Hurricanes 25-6, 25-7, 25-9, 28 aces. So not a great service from the Hurricanes. The Golden Warriors will see better competition ahead, but nonetheless, it's good when you go out and take care of business in that first one, get it under your belt. So I know they're feeling good about that. And much more fall sports stuff to come, but let's touch on a couple of big news items here, a couple headlines, and I'll pair these two together. A couple hiring things staffing things, I guess. Jermaine Bigham, the interim AD at May River. He's been the girls basketball coach there since the school opened in 2016, and now he'll be the interim AD. He will remain as the basketball coach this year. Of course, Beaufort County schools prohibit the AD from being a head coach, so if that becomes a permanent role for him, then he will step aside from the basketball job. But I like that hire. And then a little shocking, but not terribly, just because he's got so much going on. I didn't understand how he did it for a year even. But Shane Monahan stepping down as the baseball coach at Beaufort High. I mean, he's building something pretty big and boisterous with Prime Baseball. And, his stepson is playing at May River at a high level and trying to go play college ball. So it was just a lot. And I thought that maybe one season would be enough to kind of open his eyes.
I will say that's a lot of coaching turnover at one spot for Beaufort baseball. It's been at least 3 the last few years where we've had coaching changes.
Yeah, it's the third in 3 years, yeah. So this will be the 4th in 4 years. I mean, Keith Riley was there for a good while, and now it's been kind of turning over since then. There has been some continuity with the Mullins, being involved throughout, and Scott having been the head coach before. So that's good. That definitely helps, but they definitely want to get a little more stability into that position. And, it's just been kind of fluky stuff. I don't think it was I don't think it's a systemic problem necessarily, but you just don't want it to keep that cycle going. You want to have some continuity there. And they definitely have some talent coming back. And I know Gunnar Hollingsworth's coming over from Battery Creek as well. He's a good catcher and can do some other things for you. So it's going to be a good job, an attractive job. Obviously, the athletic department is on really good footing, and the programs are doing really well. So I think people will be attracted there. But Bigham, I think Bigham I think it's perfect for him. He's wanted to be an AD, but I think there's some apprehension about giving up the bench. He's a coach first, and so this gives him a chance to kind of get a feel for it and see if that's the path he wants to follow. Before having to give up the coaching job and see how it shakes out. But
and I think it's
good to have closure at May River, have everybody in place.
And it's a good hire for someone who's seen out the duration of the school's athletic program, a lot of success. A couple of years ago, taken to the lower state championship on the basketball court. So this girls program has had a good history, and he's done a fantastic job being that leader or mentor on the sideline. But now you get to see what he does in this role, and this is something that if he likes it and if he does well, it could open up a lot of avenues both here locally and maybe elsewhere for him. So I wish him all the best as he takes on this new role. Certainly going to be challenging always when you wear a couple of hats as that kind of leader high up in a school or an organization. So I have full faith that he's going to do a fantastic job. I've just been really impressed by the way he's carried himself and carried that basketball team. And he's been a great guy to work with. So really excited to see what he does in his new position.
Yeah, and I suspect that sorry, I lost my train of thought there thinking about something else. But I suspect that he's going to have lots of good help with assistant ADs. Al Schmidt's there, and he'll be out of season during the winter when Bigham is coaching. Powell, he's been there forever. I think he's in an assistant AD role where he can cover the spring. So, he's got good coverage there. Misa, obviously, he's out of season in the fall, and that guy, he's like the sheriff of May River. He knows everything that's going on all the time. It's like, and he's always
the walking encyclopedia for May River sports.
Yeah. He's well connected. He's got eyes and ears everywhere, but that's because he got so many dang players on his soccer team. He's got eyes and ears all over the school. But I think it's interesting because it's kind of a new era for May River. All the leadership that was there when the school opened, all kind of going out at the same time, and new leadership coming in. Even though many of the people who are in leadership roles, Bonneville and Bigham have been there since the start too. So you have a combination with a new principal, but you have some leaders who have been there since the start who can have that continuity. So I think it's really ripe for a nice next chapter at May River if all goes according to plan. So excited about that. Their programs are definitely in good standing. And then speaking of which, man, Hilton Head Prep Golf, Garrett Fader with the big win at the Jimmy Self last week, and then Jack Grosor just went nuts at the Beth Daniel Jr. Azalea up in Charleston this week. He was 11 under through 2 rounds, shot 7 under and then 4 under, and was still only up by 1. And then, thinking he's going to have to go low again, but then the wind kicked up and the weather was kind of nasty. And so he knew that, all he had to do was just not make more bogeys than the guy behind him. And so he just played real steady and smart, shot 1 over, finished at 10 under for the tournament, 1 by 2. And that's a big time tournament, the Junior Azalea, now, especially with Beth Daniels' name attached to it. May Rivers Claire Green, a really good showing too, finished at 4 over, was tied for the lead going into the final round, and just kind of caught lightning in that second round to get right up there, but couldn't sustain it. But still a T7, really good outing for her going into the high school season.
Yeah, we're about to start high school girls golf here across the Loco, so that's always a nice momentum builder when you have those events during the summer and you put up a good finish like that at the top 10. That's always going to strengthen your motivation and how much of golf is so mental at this point of the year, and that can do big things for her and this May River team. It's a big tradition of success, winning a couple of state titles over these last few seasons. So we'll interested to see what happens with that program with the possible change in leadership from what I've been hearing over there. So
yeah, I don't know that they've found a coach yet, but I do know that Kelly Manassi stepped down after last season. Been doing it for a long time. Her daughter's been out for a couple of years, is playing at USCB, I think. And so they had somebody in place, and then he was offered a position that an offer he couldn't refuse. So he moved on. So they're looking for somebody to lead that program. There's no shortage of people around here who are qualified to do that. So they will find someone. That's not, I don't think that's a question. And frankly, they mostly have players who are on a level where they're working with their own coaches. They really just need a mentor and somebody to guide them out on the course and help them make smart decisions and stay in the right mindset and things. So they'll find a willing coach who can help with that. And I think maybe Whitmore might take it, because Whitmore has coached the boys golf team in the past and for several years. And he's the basketball coach. So he's free in the fall. I'm sure he wouldn't mind going, loading the cart down with drinks and driving around, in the afternoons. That's a pretty good gig if you can swing it and you know what you're doing. But we know the people are here for the football talk. So let's get to the football talk. And we have a friend waiting in the green room, and it is truly a green room right now because he's got it all decked out with that Buford Eagles flag. We got Jimmy Searson on the show, buddy. What is going on? We said Christmas Eve earlier. It is definitely like Christmas Eve for you when we get to high school football season, I know.
Yeah, that's correct. It is just like Christmas. This is a big present, football season. Yeah, my favorite time of year.
But how much are you guys still gloating over what happened last December, win that state title? I mean, you talk about getting back out there after winning a state championship. I mean, as a fan, that's got to be really cool for you.
Yes, I'm still can't believe we finally won one, after all years. So
kind of breaking up on us a little, Jimmy.
Yeah, I said,
breaking up us a little, Jimmy, but go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, it still feels good and unbelievable. Because, they haven't won a state title in my whole lifetime. Well, since 1945, so they were way overdue to win one.
Yeah, the best one of how many games now have you seen?
I've seen 612 Buford games.
612. The best one of the bunch was the last one you were at.
Yeah, that was the best one. You're exactly right.
Well, I know you were at the scrimmage at Somerville last night. You got to get your eyes on them a little bit, and I saw the highlight of Darrell DePass taking the kickoff to the house, so that was exciting. But what'd you see? How encouraged are you about this Buford team? Obviously, Somerville is a monster, and honestly, people ask me who won scrimmages. You can't really truly say that unless you know both teams' motivations and what they were trying to get out of it, and how they approached it. So both teams can win a scrimmage. regardless of the score, both teams can win a scrimmage. And so what did you kind of take away from it? How you feeling about your Eagles after seeing them in action?
Well, Buford lost 23 seniors last year. So, they still are – I'm not sure how many seniors they got this year, but we still got some playmakers coming back, with Samari Bonds as quarterback. And then Buford got a couple of transfers out. Number 15 for Buford, I think his name was Amari Patterson.
Yep, from Ridgeland.
I think he came over.
Only a freshman.
Yeah, he's only a freshman. I found out. I think he came over from Portland, but he had a couple of monster catches last night, including two touchdowns.
Nice.
So I think he's going to be a big force for Buford. And like you said, he's only in 9th grade, so I can't wait to see what he does.
Yeah, that's pretty special to see a guy like that already making some splashes, making some noise. Really excited to see him in action. Man, there's nothing like the in-game atmosphere at Buford. All the tailgates outside, and then the energy walking into the Eagles' nest. There's nothing like it. So I'm really excited to head to a game this year over at Buford. But talk about this defense. A lot of guys coming back like Will Cotton, Keon Rivers, Dom Camacho, and what do you kind of see from them, and what are you hoping to see out of that unit?
Yeah, I think that's going to be Buford's strong point this year, the defense. Somerville had their, a lot of their returners back, including Yannick Smith, their good wide receiver. Covering him last night, but I think the defense is going to be the strong point, with Camacho and Rivers and all them. I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
What do you think of the running backs? Oh, yeah, Goral's terrific. Go ahead about Goral.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Y'all had the defense ready. He's a good defensive coach.
He really is. And, we talk a lot about what a great coach Bryce Librand is, but it's really about the coaching staff that Bryce Librand has assembled and leads. And that's the key. You can have a great transformational head coach, but if you don't have guys around him who buy in and know what they're doing to teach it, then and instill it, then what good does it really do you? So he's done a terrific job, and the administration there has of supporting him to build a staff that really can implement what he wants to do at a high level. And you definitely see the proof in the pudding. But I was going to ask you about the running backs, because obviously Casey Fields was just monumental last year, and then the combination of him and Colton Ferris, they didn't even have to throw a pass in the state championship game. But those guys are gone. A lot of some of those hogs up front are gone too, including Hart Cushman. I think is going to be the hardest one to replace at center. But a couple of new guys who have ties to the area moved back. Xavier Donaldson and Elias Johnson. And then, of course, you got Caleb Ulmer back. You got Jaden Andrews. So what did you see with the running back rotation last night, and who'd you like?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I also went to the scrimmage when Buford played Bamberg. Yeah. And Buford's running backs didn't do anything against Bamberg. But against Somerville, Caleb Ulmer and Jaden Andrews and that transfer running back, they did pretty good. They got some yards last night. Buford's offensive line, they blocked better than they did against Bamberg. They struggled a little bit. The offense did against Bamberg, but I think the running backs are going to be pretty good if the offensive line could, keep blocking for them.
Yeah, you do lose
Ulmer and
go ahead.
Now, I was going to say Caleb Ulmer and Jaden Andrews. They both got experience, so I think they'll be pretty good for Buford.
Yeah, obviously Hart Cushman's a big loss, but they do get Adrian Lamb back. Yes. Brother Aaron Lamb, who he's been a beast up front. Kenshawn Speaks as well. So they have some guys returning offensive line who, it's always important to have that kind of continuity. At least some guys back from that state championship team. Tell me more about what you've seen from Samari Bond, because obviously fans expect to see a little bit more from him as a passer. and as that dual threat guy without those electric backs in Kesey Fields and Colton Ferris. You expect Bonds to take more of a role this year than what we've seen.
Yeah, Wes, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah, I was saying Samari's got to take leadership this year since we lost, Ferris and Casey Fields. But I think Bonds, he needs to run the ball more this year. He didn't show it too much in the 2 scrimmages, but he's got a good arm too, and he made a couple good passes, to Patterson and the pass, Darrell DePass and Mari Patterson. They're going to be big weapons in the passing game for Samari to get the ball to. But I think Samari, I look for him to have a big year this year, running the ball and passing the ball.
Very good. Looking forward to tomorrow. We are going to preview the BA Trinity game. So, I know you have a little interest in BA. Your guy Clifford is still over there, and you got love for everybody on Ladies Island. So, what are you thinking about BA this year? They look pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I'm a big Clifford fan, and I think with Nick Shuford over there, and I was looking at their coaching staff that they posted. They got Harry Sprouse, which is a legend at Thomas Hayward, and with Shuford, and then Mark Clifford's still on staff. I think Buford Academy, I think they're going to have a real good year this year. They got some good players coming back, and then with Nick Shuford's son, Dietrich, coming in, taking over the quarterback piece, and they got some good running backs. I think they're going to have a special year this year at Buford Academy.
I do too, Wes. Let's talk more about that game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what Buford Academy does first time with that complement of talent. I think there's one thing, talking up a group that is looking to be electric offensively and having a couple studs out there defensive side. Like Alex Williams and some others that are holding down the line. But I'm really pumped to see how they do against a Trinity Collegiate team that definitely had lost a couple guys from who they had last year. But it's still looking like it's going to be a quality opening test for this Buford Academy team, and playing it over and under the big lights. And this is. It's big. It's important for these guys, not just the first game of the season, but the first game of the high school football season in the state of South Carolina. So the spotlight's going to be on you here. You want to prove something in this game. I know you're going to get a tough team, but this is kind of a game where you want to make a statement as well.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And I know that they have high expectations over there. They're going in here thinking we're going to try to win every game, including that last one on that same field. And they love to bookend it by winning this first one because it's one of the bigger challenges on the schedule. And I think the danger for them is if they do get steamrolled, which is, it's possible. Trinity's a big-time 4A SCISA program, and there's a big difference between 4A and 2A in SCISA. And so we'll see what happens. But if they do, struggle, then you got to come right back and play a Pinewood team that is, by all accounts, loaded for bear. And you could be staring at 0-2 and kind of, existential crisis almost. So you don't want to get in that position. But at the same time, I think they have a pretty level head about what the schedule shakes out like, and that even if they're sitting at 0-2, they have a real good chance to be 10 or 11-2 or whatever it is, and playing for a state championship at the end. So I think it's a really fun game. There's not a lot of games that would get me to drive to Charleston on August 12th, but this one's pretty fun.
It feels like that quintessential college football kickoff game.
Yeah.
The neutral site field.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah,
I'm looking
I think it's going to be an
it.
exciting game. I can't wait to see what Buford Academy does. But yeah, the first game in South Carolina. So it's a special, game, and they'll be fired up for it.
No question. And well, guys, we need to give our sponsors some love real quick. I can do that. You guys can hang out while I do it, and we'll keep talking football when we're done. But I do need to give some love to my MVP sponsors for Loco Sports so far this year. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, hit us at locosports@gmail.com. That's LOWCO sports@gmail.com, and we will get you added to the list. But we'll start with Megan Jarrett, realtor from the Pierce Group. That's my wife, and she's the biggest behind the scenes supporter of Loco Sports since the beginning. She's the one who said I could do it, you guys. So we got to support her now because she's an agent with the Pierce Group, and she's ready to help you find your starter home or your forever home here in the Loco. And I can't speak for the work ethic of every realtor around here, and there are plenty, but I can't imagine there's anybody who's going to work harder for you than I see Megan working every day for her clients. So if you need a new home, if you need to buy or sell, call on Team Loco, the Queen Bee, the Loco Hive. Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Loco Sports. And another of our MVP sponsors, Mickelson Law Group. Of course, they were our first sponsors, and they're still with us 6 years later. A testament to the people and community leaders that Ryan and Tiffany really are. And I see them all over the place, giving their time and their resources to help make this a better place. And that's what you'll get when you call on the Mickelson team for all your legal needs. After you get with Megan about that house, go to Mickelson. They'll close that thing up for you, get you the keys, and get you in there. And another one, while we're at it, homegrown home inspections. When you get that house you want, call on my friend Jan over at Homegrown Home Inspections. I went on a ride along with him, guys, recently, doing a little video project for him. And it was amazing to see the level of expertise and customer service that he brings to every home inspection. He works a lot out in Latitudes Margaritaville, and he's like the mayor out there. I mean, he's driving around checking on all these houses that are under construction, getting calls, doing FaceTime calls to show people updates because they're up north wondering how their house is coming along. His phase inspections are really just the incredible peace of mind that you need when you're doing a new build. He'll be your eyes and ears out there, and he'll be your biggest advocate until move-in day. So call on Jan Lucas at Homegrown Home Inspections. And finally, Hospice Care, the Low Country, last but not least. We love the wonderful caring staff over there, and I've seen firsthand how hard they work and how much they care. The CEO, James Disman, is a great friend, great supporter of Loco, and he's leading a tremendous team over there and really building it up at Hospice Care, the Low Country. They now offer palliative care as well. So, if you have chronic symptoms and you need pain management, you need help around the house, they're the only nonprofit hospice care in Southern Beaufort County, and they do great work raising money to make sure that people aren't coming out of pocket who can't afford it for hospice care, which is so important because it's not about dying, it's about living. So guys, those are our MVP sponsors so far for this year. We appreciate them so much for making all this possible, and we're looking for more. We love you guys, and we love to do this, and we want to build this thing up and make it bigger and better. But let's keep talking some football, boys. We got some Oklahoma drills lined up here. I've got a couple for you. We can beat it around a little bit. You got to pick one Loco quarterback this year to start the state championship game. Who you got?
Oh, man.
I know who you're going to say, Jimmy. He's already got a ring. He's already got a ring.
He's already got a ring. You're right. Yeah. I'll let Wes answer it first.
Well, I don't want to feel bad because he was on the top of my board. So.
I mean, he's already got a ring. Like, that's the argument for Samari, right?
Yeah.
But he also did not attempt to pass in that championship game. So it's like, I mean, like, yeah, you can wiggle somebody else in there.
No. I mean, it's Samari Bonds, but what he did to manage that game, and not just that, but you look at what he did to get there. I mean, he had to make a couple important throws in the playoffs to get to that state championship game, and his composure.
And the threat of it was a big part of why they never had to do it.
Right. If he isn't as talented and competent in terms of running the football and having that extra dimension that defenses have to worry about, then you got other guys like Casey Fields and Colton Ferris. It adds a couple more guys to look out for, and it's just there was no shot for any defense to defend when all three of those athletes are out there in the field. So just the presence of him was ultra important to why Beaufort High made that run.
Yeah, no question. I think if I was going to argue for somebody else, I mean, I think Samari's a pretty fair answer. Like
Mhm.
he's got the ring. I mean, that's what it boils down to. But if I was going to argue for somebody else, I think it's Xavier Garvin. I mean, he is a video game, and all things being equal, you put him at quarterback. It's hard to imagine a better guy to put there. He is a dog. He is a competitor. I think Samari's that guy. I think they're very similar guys, honestly.
Yeah.
But Xavier's a year older, and I think he's got a little hunger right now that Samari's it's in there too, but it develops more the older you get and the closer you get to the prize, And I think so. Xavier might be my guy, but I wouldn't fight you if you said Samari. And the other guy I would consider, I don't think he's on the level of those two guys, but he has the spirit and the heart, is Christian Tilton, John Paul II.
The light's the brightest.
Man, that dude, there's something special in that kid. I'm telling you. It comes out sometimes and you're like, whoa, he is like a man possessed at times. Against Hilton Head Christian last year, he had two touchdowns at the pylon that I was just like, oh. But physically he's not on the same level, I don't think, with Samari or Xavier, but he's such a heady player, and he's just so tough minded, so cool under pressure. So those are kind of the guys that come to mind for me.
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, who you got?
I was gonna say the Davis kid from college to pro.
Yeah.
I went to their scrimmage. They had like 6 teams in the scrimmage the other day, and that Davis kid, he could run and throw. He's got a good arm too. He impressed me.
He was right with Williams. He was dueling them for like the first few possessions. We saw in the state championship PA, and then he was throwing some dimes in that state championship game to keep up with that Williamsburg team.
He's a dude, straight up.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
He's a guy for me that he's not getting recruited very heavily, but for me, he's a guy like Jace Blackshear and Jamie and Risher and Jackson Lanier, even, like some of these guys that didn't really get looks and they went and walked on, and now they're on rosters for Division I football teams. And, Blackshear and Risher and Chase McCracken are all on the Gamecocks roster. Came in as walk-ons, and they're on the roster. Brandon Howard he's on scholarship now at Charleston Southern, and with those guys, it's always something intangible that doesn't show up in the measurements. It's that like that want to factor. And a lot of times I think that's really the difference. And Cole has that for me. I don't think he's a college, not a high level college quarterback. He could probably go to a low level Division II and play quarterback easily, but I think he's got a chance to go walk on or something as a project somewhere and play like safety and be a Colton Ferris type of, that type of player. Colton, I think, is on track to be like an All-American at Appalachian State. Like I think he's got that kind of ability and want to. He's got that want to. So yeah, that's a big part of it. But let's go to our next topic, which is you could say a quarterback here, I guess, but not necessarily. One MVP that you're going to build your team around. You get to pick one guy to build your team around. Who you got?
This was a good one. When you think of a player to build your team around, I normally think defense first. One of those guys who can, fly to the football, make plays with physicality, and have that innate sense that I'm going to be where I need to be to get the job done, make stops, and elevate the guys around me. I think Jeremiah Curry fits a lot of those, those different values and traits to have as a guy who can lead a defense. He's been solid these last few years for Bluffton, and you just see him stand out by the way he reacts physically to getting to where he needs to be, making plays all around the field, and just the energy, the extra spark and passion that he is showing on the field. And I think he's really bought into the system that Aiden Gregory's applied. He's someone who's been there for a while and has been a standout for Bluffton. But I think this last season, now coming into the senior year, we're seeing a lot more of dominant play from Curry out there, really going so many different areas on the defense and finding ways to make contributions with his multi level toolbox of skill sets out there on the field. He's definitely continued to pick up some offers from a couple big time Division I schools, West Virginia, among some others. But this is a guy who has a high compete level and really plays with that violence and physicality that is so beneficial for a team to make a statement on defense and to be able to force those completions and turnovers as well. So I'm going with Jeremiah Carrillo. This is it's a good question. There are a lot of guys.
Yeah,
like I look on the defensive side first.
I'm with you. Yeah, I like your thought process, and I like Curry as an answer, especially because they're using him at running back this year. And so, I kind of see him as almost kind of like that Ferris type guy too, who's, he's a headhunter on defense first, but we're going to send him in there and make you try to tackle him too. And it ain't easy to do. He's ferocious. So I like that pick a lot. I was thinking along kind of those same lines with Shai Thompson. But, and they're using him at tight end, where I think he could be very dangerous as well. A little security blanket underneath. He can block for you. But you can pop him out there on a little sneaky route and just slip it over the top and let him go and let somebody try to tackle him. And he's an impactful player on defense as well. So that's kind of where I was going too. Jimmy, you got anybody to add to the mix there?
Yeah, I was going on the defensive side too with Camacho. Camacho, he's a good athlete, and he could probably play anywhere where you want him to play at. But he's impressed me the last few years. But I think you could build a team around him, and I was thinking him or the Lamb kid. Lamb, he could play on the offensive or defensive line, or
sticking him at tackle and nose that's a pretty nice proposition to start with too. That's not bad at all. I'd throw KJ Chisholm in there too at Whale Branch.
Yes.
Yeah, he's super impactful on both sides of the ball. He's he last year he was a lot like Ferris. Started out as a receiver. They couldn't get him the ball, so they moved him to the backfield because they lost a bunch of running backs, and he was a beast back there. He busted off like 80-yard runs. So he's a Division I, for me, he's like a Power 5 type prospect. He's not probably going to get as many of those looks as he should because 1A football, but have we figured out yet that Whale Branch knows what they're doing? Like, they keep putting dudes in big time spots and they perform. Can we just give them a pass at this point? Yeah. They got legit trainers over there doing the work. So let's just give these boys a pass and start giving them the offers.
Yeah, Justin, that's funny about Well Branch at the scrimmage last night in Somerville. I talked to Adam Kinlaw, the county's coach. He sat by me and we talked a while. We talked good about you too, But he was talking about 1A schools don't get the love like the bigger schools. And we were talking about Well Branch and, like you said, all the players that they're put through college for a 1A school.
Great track record.
Yeah, it's impressive.
They punch way above their weight. And I'll tell you, the 4A schools, most of them wouldn't like it if we stacked up the numbers and, measured them against the ratio of student population to how many are going somewhere. Because Whale Branch is punching way above their weight, man. They're doing good work out there. So I hope they can keep it up. I love the folks out there. It's a real good community vibe and everybody pulling in the same direction most of the time. So it's a cool thing. But, well, hey, Jimmy, we appreciate you, man. And we'll definitely be talking to you a lot this football season. But we'll let you get out of here and enjoy the rest of your Friday night and talk a little more about some sponsors and then move on down the road.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We'll see you out there real soon, buddy.
I see you soon.
Well, it's always great to talk to Jimmy. One of the best things about football season, we get to talk to Jimmy more often and hear from him. And he's so knowledgeable and passionate about Buford High football and really about all sports in the Loco. He's been a great supporter from day one of our first, fans on social media saying this is so great. We needed this so bad. And he still really hypes us up. He's a great ambassador for us. And we love having him, be part of the team and help us cover Buford High. It's really awesome.
It's cool to talk to passionate fans here. We get to talk to a lot of coaches and players, but there's something unique about the interaction with the fans, someone who's been here and it's just, lived it as a big supporter for decades. That's something important to talk to have that perspective.
No question. And we do want to recognize some more sponsors. We got a couple of varsity sponsors on the roster so far this year, including DDS Web Design. And, we're all doing so much online these days, Wes. And if you have a website that isn't getting clicks, or maybe you just need a website, period, DDS Web Design will get your site up and running quickly, and they'll use the best search engine optimization tactics to make sure you get found online. Dave and Denise and their team over at DDS especially love working with small businesses and nonprofits to help them do more and think bigger and get more business through their website. So check them out at ddshhi.com, or, maybe just stop by Giuseppe's or someplace, because they're big Steelers, Pittsburgh people. You'll probably find them over there having a pizza and a beer, and just tell them Loco sent you, and they'll get you set up with a new website that works better for you. And we also have our new friends at Parker Law Group, who have been serving folks with their legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties for years. And we really appreciate their support to allow us to continue to expand our coverage into those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes around the Loco and West. We certainly have seen that, come true this year with covering Hampton County, adding them to our coverage area. We've met so many great people out there and been able to cover so many great teams and stories and athletes and people. And same for Colleton. And I'm really excited to go watch both those teams kick off next Friday night. Colleton against Hampton. That border battle is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's just going to be so electric to have them open against a team like that in close proximity to them, potentially, rivalry building right before our eyes over here. So
there's a championship belt. There's a championship belt. Yeah, it's going to be done up big. I can get in there early. There's going to be a tailgate for sure. But I don't mean to cut you off there, but we do have a friend waiting in the green room, Bracken Lambert, ready to join us and take a few bites at the Sand Sharks. What's going on, man? First of all, congrats on the gig, the seat I used to sit in, the SID over at USCB. It's your throne now, buddy, and you got a challenge before you because you guys are launching basketball this fall. It's going to be a really exciting but stressful time for you. You SIDs, as I know firsthand, do yeoman's work, and nobody works harder than you guys. But you've been working around the clock, getting ready for this fall season, ready to get people on campus. I've seen some great video content coming out. Get us caught up on the latest on the Sand Sharks.
Man, everything's just getting started. Soccer is kicking off. We've got a couple scrimmages coming up, and then September 1st, soccer's kicking off, man. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Hired a new track and field cross-country coach, and Terica Harris. She's Coastal Empire native, so she's –
My apologies for the mispronunciation on last night in the Loco. I didn't know any better. I was just guessing.
Yeah, she forgives you. She forgives you. Basketball's starting. Both Coach Ron and Coach Sharon are doing their thing. The basketball court is getting together. We've got the 4 hoops on each side, but now the hoops in the center are getting put in. The court's done, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So now we're just waiting for the kids. Media day coming up for soccer. I know that the ladies are excited for that. But I mean, I'm just excited for sports to get going.
It's starting to become very real. It was a goal that USCB has been reaching for a while to bring in men's basketball. And now we finally get to see the fruits of that. We get to see college hoops in the Loco, which is just really exciting for us as journalists and as reporters, but also for the community. To have that level of basketball. So, just tell me about the excitement, just a couple months away from tip-off.
I mean, everything is – we talk about basketball almost every day in the office. Both the golf outings are completely full. We've got a ton of sponsors going out there for them. So –
I think we're going to have a Loco team in the men's event. Fidala called me the other day and solicited my presence. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. So I mean, even Corey, the golf coach, Coach Ted, baseball, myself, and then the women's coach Brady Grogan are gonna be in a foursome. I'm not sure for the men's side, but definitely for the women's side. So we're gonna be playing Corey's best ball most of the time.
Is it a shamble so you can play everything off Corey's drive? Because that helps a ton.
That's we're playing best ball, so I'm like, we'll do that.
Scramble.
But I mean, just the excitement from because I'm over here in Beaufort, so I don't hear a lot of the rumblings at restaurants or anything like that. But from what Sharon and Ron, they're hardly in the office because they're out there going out and getting stuff ready. We're just getting out there ready. I mean, it's going to be something else coming forward. November 11th, Veterans Day, we open against Morris College, and it's going to be a fun time. I'm super pumped. We're getting all of our staff together for the games, and just ready. Yeah, JJ, you're getting ready.
Yeah, let's go.
I think I'm about to hop on that play-by-play, lining up my color analysts now. So, needless to say, I'm pumped for some Loco college basketball, and definitely we got to get Wes involved somehow.
And real quick before we let you go, Bracken, first, but before we get to basketball, we got a really fun women's soccer team that's about to start their season. Jay Harris has done a great job, especially what we saw last year against some tough opponents. That first year moving up and playing T2, really impressive start for this group, and certainly a couple of big names in terms of scoring loss, but still a lot of depth returning for what we're going to see from this team here in 2023.
Oh, absolutely. To have the all-time leading scorer in Mari Calvalton, having her being able to stick around for a fifth year, in a way, kind of thanks COVID, she gets another chance to put up some huge numbers. But I mean, she's playing on the midfield, but you've got 7 newcomers who are probably going to make an impact. We've got a transfer from Bluefield State, Bella Estevez. She's going to be an impactful player. We actually have a sibling joining the team, Cassie Martin, out of Sumter. She is joining her sister, Adriana, and Cassie will be playing up in the scoring position as Adriana plays in the backfield for the defense. But I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this team does. We lost a couple of key players in graduation with Lexi Kaiser and to name just one of them. But I mean, if you're looking at the entire soccer team is still like the core of the team is still there. So I know they're excited. I hear them lifting every morning in the weight room, and we open against Newberry, and so that's going to be a good game just to kind of kick off the season. The first time we played Newberry was back when JJ was in my seat back with in 2011, and had to go back and look to find that game because when we switched everything over, it got all messed up. So I had to go find scores and
good times.
Get some info about that. Yeah, tough year, but I mean, they're going to build on the 11-7-1 record. It was the best year in program history. Yeah. I think the biggest part of all of this is the fact that we can play in postseason. They are – it's a huge thing. There's no other Division II school in the country and who is going to be as a provisional team who can play in the postseason, has a chance to play for a conference championship. And we still can't play for the NCAA championship.
Right.
But JJ, you and I talked a little bit this week, realistically.
You already saw that recruiting uptick, right? Like immediately you saw the results of that.
And that's not just for soccer. That's for everything.
Baseball.
Guys, baseball is huge. Guys who are coming in who are like, may not have, JUCO guys who may not have been on our radar are all of a sudden, hey, you guys have postseason opportunities. I want to come. And I mean, it's a destination school. Who doesn't want to come and go to school by the beach?
Right.
That's been the moniker for this school for years.
I mean, that's one of the check marks on a lot of people's lists is, close to the beach. I want to be close to the beach. Well, we got that. We checked that box.
And the fact that just it's just growing everywhere. It's not just the Bluffton Hilton Head Gateway campus.
Right.
You've got campuses here in Beaufort. So you've got housing. We're working on building housing over on Hilton Head for the hospitality management. I mean, there's so many different aspects that go into this. Yeah. I think that just is going to help recruiting. And, we get through this year of year 2 of provisional status, go on to year 3. And then I really think at that point, we're going to be a solid player here in the Peach Belt.
I think so too. I do. And, we've always known the potential, obviously, because we've been there since around there or paying attention since the early days. So we've always known what the potential was there. And it's just a matter of time and timing. And it's starting to come together now. Baseball and softball will be on campus 24, 25, right?
Probably 25, 26. That's 26. The goal. Okay. I think that's 25, 26. All right. Or the 2025 season.
Right, so 24, 25, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be terrific. One more season in Hardeeville and then on campus would be a real boon for the program.
Yeah, and I know
long time coming.
Yeah, Ted and Cody are very excited for that. We've talked a lot about it, and that's honestly been a huge thing helping for recruiting. Getting that, I mean, that's a game changer once we have an on-campus facility. The facilities in general. Yeah. But, they were talking about just the students living on campus. They have, Ted's got a pretty big roster and over half of them are living on campus. I mean,
right.
Back when I was in school and you were in my seat, it was everyone's living off campus. Let me go to UP.
Well, there were some different things that occurred there, including upgrading the housing, but also, it was a way to lower your bottom line too if you lived in housing. You could get some scholarship opportunities that were available. So it's all about figuring out how to do more with what you got. And it's not easy work, but you guys keep battling and keep fighting and just keep getting better. And we know the potential here. We can be the next Coastal Carolina or Florida Gulf Coast. There's no doubt that this place has the growth potential. And that university, now with all the different programs that they're developing across the different campuses, really has a lot of potential to grow into something special, even more special than it has been. And, you and I both have a lot of love for Dr. Jane Upshaw and the work she did to get it to the status that it is now. And it's great to see that you guys are breaking new ground still, and look forward to working with you guys this fall and winter.
Yeah, I know. Mom, I bet you Mama is looking over and just seeing all this. And I did get to reach out to her right before once I took the position, and she was so excited. She's so happy to get that alumni, be the alumni back. So
yeah, it's great. It's a great thing, man. It really is. That really helps build that affinity and tradition and really stay true to kind of the soul of the place, I think, a little bit when you bring back past generations of students. So congrats to you, and looking forward to working with you in another role. We've worked together in many roles, but we're in different chairs now. So, thanks a lot, man. We got a few more things to get to before we call it a night, but we appreciate you stopping by.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys, for having me. Wes, we'll see you on the 1st, bud.
Look forward to it.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
You too. All right, good to see Bracken and get an update on USCB. We're gonna have to make that a regular deal. That was good stuff. Bracken bringing lots of good insight and information on USCB. Let's talk about a few more sponsors. Our Loco Booster Club members for the 2023-24 season so far. This roster not complete. We're still looking for new recruits. Hit us up at LowcoSports@gmail.com, LOWCO sports@gmail.com to join the club. And our Loco Booster Club members so far, Prime IV, now open in Belfair Town Village. Go get you an IV bag. It's been hot. You've been sweating. You're not feeling energetic. You're not your best. I saw my guy Yawn from Homegrown Home Inspections earlier tonight, Wes. Went over to take my daughter some stuff because she's sleeping over at his daughter's house. He was passed out on the couch. I said, "What the heck, man?" He said, "I went and saw Max at Prime IV and got my drip, and I'm just so relaxed and refreshed. I just fell asleep. It was great. So now I want to go get one. I got to go see Max at Prime IV, give me a bag of vitamins and minerals, and get fueled up for this football season. And if you got other issues, mechanical issues, you can go see Ambrose at Rooted Living Wellness. He gave us a great tip today at our business meeting. He told us that the most underutilized advice that he gives is just telling people to breathe. People forget to breathe, and just focusing on breathing 2 to 5 minutes a day and really, breathing deeply will really help you strengthen your core and just get everything aligned right, and you'll just feel better. But he can give you lots more tips than that, and he can also crack you up and get you feeling your best over at Rooted Living Wellness. So go see him for more great insight on your body and how to feel better. And then Barefoot Floor Care at the Low Country, my buddy Chris Odom. When he talks about cleaning floors, I mean, he's like wood floors, tile floors, vinyl floors, cleans carpet, he cleans upholstery. I'm like, man, you're like the Bubba Gump of floors. You're talking about all this stuff you can do cleaning, but all that to say that the guy knows how to get stuff clean, and especially those nasty sticky floors, which are just so disgusting when you feel your feet stick to it. But if you got that going on, trust me on this one, your business or your residence, call Barefoot Floor the Low Country and get those floors so clean your feet will thank you. And then finally, Eagle Creations. They are a full line promotional product company. Best kept secret right here in the Loco. I'm telling you, right over on Argent. If you're one of those people like me who's always spread thin, volunteering for different teams or organizations, or having to, get things in a pinch because deadline's coming. If you need an emergency jersey or hat for your travel team, you need promotional items for an event or your business, or if you just want to show somebody some love, they have these proudly Southern custom gift baskets that only feature regional goods from like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. And they put them together and can, really match it to your taste and really make somebody feel good and make them know that you're thinking about them. So give Eagle Creations a call. You let any of our sponsors know that Loco sent you. I promise they will make sure that they take care of us, because like us, they all believe that givers gain, and that when you give to something good that's putting good into the world, the universe will fill that void for you and give it back to you. So be sure to let them know that Loco sent you. You heard about them on here, and they will give you extra special service, and you might even get a little special treatment too. So be sure to do that. But Wes, a couple more things to get to. Most importantly, it's fall sports season. We are into it. Volleyball started last night, as we mentioned, JP2 with the win. There was a tennis jamboree with a bunch of teams involved. The Bobcat Scorcher is tomorrow morning, so the cross-country teams will be out there running in the deathly heat. It's here. We're playing football tomorrow night. We're here, man. We made it.
We have arrived at fall sports season.
Ready or not.
Yes, and that was an event I ran for a couple of years. And
I ran it last year, but I'm not running it this year.
I'll tell you what, it is no joke. It's hot out there early. Even they do it early in the morning.
It's 8 o'clock, but it's still real thick.
Yeah.
It's just so hot. But those kids run fast.
Yes, it always serves as the unofficial kickoff to the cross country season. So that's when you get your first look at some of the runners here who are gonna do big things this year. And we always have so much depth, so many people coming up. It's just a continuous cycle of talented runners around here. Our coaching continues to do some excellent work over there. So I'm really excited for some of the cross country talent we're going to see. It's a special sport to me because that was a sport I specialized in back in high school. So this was always such a fun time. You train all summer, and then the adrenaline rush when you get ready for that first meet. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I wasn't a cross country runner. We didn't have it in my town in Kansas in the 90s, but I became a runner later in life, right? And a lot of that was because of the time that I spent with guys like Bill Wrightson at Hilton Head High, Dana House at Bluffton, and all those kids who ran for her and then went on to USCB, Marshall Meyer and Frank Tinsley and Tommy Reeves and Nick Tones, and gosh, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I know there's a bunch more. Those kids were just so awesome, and I really loved following their careers and seeing them improve and seeing their dedication and their camaraderie. And Larry Kimball then, really became a guy that I learned a lot about running from, and a lot about cross country and the differences in cross country and road racing. And, I just learned so much from him at USCB. He was such a wealth of knowledge, and still is. I mean, we're still exposed to such a high level of elite running talent here because of the events that he and David Kroll and others have organized. So, I love cross country, but I have a swimmer. I have a high school swimmer now, Wes. Feeling very old because I have a 7th grader who I told him, hey man, you need to do something in the fall to stay in shape. What do you think about swimming or cross country? And he said, and I got to respect his rationale. He said swimming because it'll help me develop more upper body strength for baseball, and because I'm more likely to run on my own to train than to swim on my own. And
that is proactive thinking.
That is so smart. And, I really feel old because he's being coached by George Moreno, who I covered way back in the aughts at Bluffton High School. And now he's a professional triathlete, and he's my kid's swim coach. And it's such a neat story because George has for several years now coached both the Bluffton High School and May River High School swim teams. They train together. They go to the same meets. They're rivals in every way, except they're teammates and their family. And a lot of them swim together with the Finns, and, Coach George coaches them there too. So it's been really a neat dynamic to see a little bit from more of the inside and to talk to Truman about. And he's having a great time so far, and really enjoying it. And, I love to see kids branch out and try other sports, and even if you don't have success, just enjoying it and bettering yourself in some way is really awesome. And I think that if he sticks with it, he will have success.
And that diversification is great. I mean, has been a topic we've been discussing for a while. It's good to specialize in one, but to have that multi sports specialization, to play different sports in one calendar year, to build up so many different, muscles, abilities on the field and the court. That cross train really helps. In swimming, you mentioned the upper body strength when you're hitting baseball. It adds up. The work that you put in, it's going to benefit you when you step up to the plate this spring. There is certainly a lot to take out of that experience, and having to start from a lower position in your sport in terms of being a beginner and getting climbing that mountain. There's a lot
trying to catch up. Yep. It's really good. It's really good. It really pushes you to drive. And I'm really impressed with his attitude about it so far. The 6 a.m. practices, he has adjusted better than I have. I'm kind of running on fumes at this point. He can't drive yet. So guess who gets to make that 6 a.m. drop-off most mornings? I either get 6 a.m. drop-off or 7 a.m. pickup, and the official realtor of LowcoSports gets the other one. So it's been an adjustment for us too, but we're really proud that he's given it a shot, and really happy that he's part of a really cool program with Coach George. So bringing it full circle for me. Covered that guy a long time ago. But final parting thoughts, Wes. A couple of things of note. The podcast formerly known as Distant Replay, which you may have watched with Rich Basirico, Bob Stevens, and Curry Kirkpatrick. We got another episode in the can about to come out, but we had to sort out the name because Curry came up with the name Distant Replay and then immediately wanted to change the name. And 2 episodes in, I wouldn't say staged a coup, but almost staged a coup. We talked through it, and we've landed on a new name. It's going to be called Under the Bus, which is appropriate. And I granted them this name change because I do think it better captures the spirit of the thing. They're throwing a lot of people under the bus, including each other sometimes. So it's a great time. If you haven't listened to it yet, you can search for it as Distant Replay right now, but it's going to be called Under the Bus when episode 3 drops soon. We're just working out a couple of details there, but it's great times. Check that out. And I know you and Curry have been friends for a long time. You've grown up around him. So, what he's like, but man, he's a cut.
A lot of knowledge between those 3.
Oh, it's unreal. And their camaraderie, they have really great chemistry. They're really funny. I crack up sitting in the producer's booth. But that was one thing. And then the other sad note that came out of our meeting when we recorded the show the other day, Coach Basirico informed me, and then I was able to go online and find some information that Britt Barker passed away. He was only 59. The Barker name, Barker Field on Hilton Head, named for Maynard Barker, who was really a big proponent for youth sports and a philanthropist, and the field named after him. His son Britt was a star athlete at May River Academy back when Rich Basirico and Dave Adams were coaching there, predating Sea Pines Academy or predating Hilton Head Prep, which May River and Sea Pines formed together to form that. And Rich Basirico, who has seen a lot of people come through here, still speaks in kind of hushed tones about Britt Barker and the athlete and leader that he was. Hit a game-winning shot in a state championship game, was a star football player, and went on and punted at Georgia Southern for Irk Russell, back in those days. So, and then came back and was very involved in the community and a great leader. I think he helped start Coastal Plains Insurance of the Lowcountry. Just lots of connective tissue there, and the Barker family is kind of legendary in the sports scene in the Lowcountry. So just didn't want to let his untimely and early passing go by without noting it.
Yeah, very, very sad to hear of his passing. I mean, that family's just been moving the culture of the Lowcountry. You look at Barker Field, and you look at all what Britt Barker did as an athlete, and then coming back as a community ambassador and as a leader, exemplary member of the Lowcountry and all the good that it represents. And sad to see him gone way too soon.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's a somber note, but much better news ahead because, again, it's football season. We're hitting the road tomorrow afternoon. We'll figure out. It's going to be a late night, so I think we'll probably do a little recap on Sunday or something like that. I'm not sure we'll be able to pull off something up there on Saturday night. We'll probably want to get home to our beds. But, it's going to be a long day, but definitely you can follow us on social media. Get on the Twitter, the Instagram. We'll definitely be posting all kinds of content, and we'll have plenty after the game as well. And on Last Night in the Loco on Monday, we're busting out the 4.5-minute segments again to get in all the highlights from the weekend. So we'll have tons of highlights from that game and much more sports news coming up there. So thanks so much to all of our sponsors. We gave them lots of love tonight. Still not enough. We couldn't do it without them. We need more folks to step up and support what we do so we can continue to keep this thing growing, expand what we do, shine more of a light, and continue to add resources that help our student athletes, propel them to their full potential in one way or another. So that's what we're trying to do here. Hit us up at LowcoSports@gmail.com, LOWCO sports@gmail.com. If you'd like to become a sponsor, we can start you as little as $50 a month. Thanks so much to our guests. Thanks for Jimmy Searson for jumping on and talking Buford football and a little bit of everything. That guy gets some more football games than we do. I don't know how he does it. Thanks to Bracken Lambert for coming on to talk USCB with us, and best wishes in the new gig. Going to be seeing you a lot, buddy. And thanks so much, especially to y'all, for showing up to listen or watch. You're the reason we keep doing it, and I never want to stop. I don't know about you, Wes. But this is so much fun. The best time. Yeah. It's the best time. But that's going to do it for this one. So for Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Thanks so much for joining us. And until next time, go Loco.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Loco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Loco!